What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be remaking a knife handle. My buddy dropped off this knife. The blade is nice and sharp and good to go, but the handle was lacking. It was made out of some composite material. It's cracked. It's just old, and he wants to upgrade the handle. So I'm going to be using some Zebrawood blanks, and I'm going to revitalize this knife. Stick around and see how I do it. So the first step in this project is going to be laying out the old handles on the blanks. Now these are roughly the same thickness, so I'm not really worried about taking anything off of the blanks because I'll just sand it down, file it down later once the shape is done. So I'm just going to lay this out on here. These Zebrawood blanks I got off of Amazon. They're pretty affordable, and I'm just going to give a nice rough outline here. I'm totally okay with it having some extra width and length, so that way I can just sand it down and file it down after I get the shape cut out. So this old handle had spots for rivets. We're not going to worry about that on this project. It's just going to be solid Zebrawood. I think it's going to look really, really nice. Boom. So once I have the two handles laid out on my blanks, I'm going to take it over to the bandsaw and I'm going to cut these out. Now I'm going to leave it a little bit proud of the line, that way I can sand it and file it down to the exact dimension. Once the handles are cut to their rough shape on the bandsaw, I'm going to put a bevel on the inside edges to match the taper here on the top of the knife handle. So I'm just going to secure them in my workbench and use a chisel to remove that material. Before using any epoxy, I wanted to make sure that I had enough material around the entire perimeter of the knife handle. Looks good, so I mixed up some Total Boat 2-to-1 epoxy resin, and I'm going to go ahead and secure this knife handle. If you guys need any epoxy resin, I highly recommend this stuff, and you can use code BLUELINE off Total Boat's website to get 20% off and free shipping. I'll leave the link in the description for y'all. So I'm just going to apply a generous amount of epoxy to the inside of these handle blanks. Once I get it all on here, I'll go ahead and spread it around, get some even distribution. This is going to be messy, but that is okay with me. Make sure I get it on that inside beveled edge too. So I'm glad I thought about it before I just left this alone. I ended up throwing some Tyvek tape in between the clamps and the workpiece. That way the clamps didn't get epoxied to the workpiece because there was a lot of excess coming out. So I'm going to let this cure and set up. Once it's completely dry and hardened, I will come back and start shaping these. So I don't have a nice high-speed spindle sander, but I do have a belt sander, and when you flip it over and clamp it to your workbench, it works just the same. So I spent some time on this. I brought a little bit down on each side and then just got the overall shape of the handle following the metal handle that was already laid out. Once I had all of the rough shaping done on the belt sander, I just took some leftover sandpaper that I had and sanded the whole handle down to 220 so that it was nice and smooth. For finish on this, I chose walrus oil. It's all natural wood oil and it just makes everything look super nice and really makes the natural grain of the wood pop out. Overall, this was a super fun project. It was the first knife handle that I've ever made, and I think it turned out pretty nice. So thank you guys so much for watching as always. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. Give me a thumbs up and comment if you got any questions.